One Night Only. This is a romantic comedy that has a kind of almost a sci-fi premise. So the premise for this story is in America, which has kind of it's played in a very whimsical, comedic way. This isn't like dark. It's not scary. It's very lightweight. It's America has kind of this totalitarian Christian government that says in order to have sex, you must be married. Single people are not allowed to have sex except one night a year. And on that one night, you can do it. Whether, if you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, you can have sex. If you're single, you can go and find somebody and there's no consequences. Otherwise, everyone has a tattoo of they choose their kind of what their little icon or emoji on their wrist that will alert if anyone's having illegal sex. Now, all this sounds really dark and dystopian and is not really fully explained in the trailer. And the trailers for this movie are terrible. Mm-hmm. But it's this whole sort of it's like The Purge, but with sex. It's not quite like that, but whatever. The movie is kind of what happens in the one night when our lead character, Owen, played by Callum Turner, his girlfriend decides on their one night that, hey, I'm going to go have sex with someone else. Of course, he's distraught by it. And then Monica Barbaro is Allie. She's a singer who sings like prescription drug jingles, but she's a really good singer.
Yeah. But based on popular songs.
Yeah, based on popular songs. It's very played off in a very funny way. We meet other people in their lives, Allie's best friend who ends up finding a dude immediately. We meet Owen's mother, Linda, played by Molly Ringwald, and she's having sex with, of all people, LeVar Burton is in the film as someone she decides to hook up with. And we see little sort of touches of other people's stories. Allie and Owen keep running into each other. They do the meet cute, and then they keep running into each other while each of them tries to survive this night. Now, if they had put all that in the trailer, like what the actual premise is, The Purge with sex, I think that would really turn people off. The way it's played in the movie is like a joke. People say resist the mandates. It's played in a very lighthearted way, considering, and everyone in society has kind of accepted this. I almost think it would have been better. Throw that aspect away. Why don't you just have single people on Valentine's Day? Okay. They call it Singles Awareness Day. That's the little name some people call Valentine's Day. When you're single, it's Singles Awareness Day. They could have had single people on Valentine's Day, made it simple rather than this sci-fi concept. Look, I got to give this movie credit. I've seen more people kiss in this movie than I saw in all the movies the last 5 years. That's not an exaggeration. I saw women dress sexy, like short skirts and heels. That's like default setting for every woman in this film is sexy. The men also shirts off, very sexy. This is like all the romance that has been bottled up in movies in the last 5-10 years. It's exploded in this one film, because I had written off romantic comedies as a genre. They're just not, they weren't a thing. And I got to give this movie credit. There are parts of it that are by the numbers, but it's very unique. In the end, it's Monica Barbaro and Callum Turner. Their chemistry is so good. Mm-hmm. This movie won me over. I was sitting there resisting. Oh, this concept's dumb. Oh, and it's got like it's not on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like 52%. Okay. But this movie is in the end, while it's really focused on sex, in the end, the movie is really romantic. It ended up working for me, and it's a genre that I think needs new life breathed into it, and I recommend it. Look, not the best romantic comedy, but there's some funny things in here. I don't want to ruin any of it. What did you think of One Night Only, Alan?
Yeah. Look, I'll admit, I have seen movies where I was just not into it until the very end. And the end of the movie won me over. This is a little bit different in that I really like the ending. But everything leading up to it was, I think my issue is the overarching issue. It's this Singles Awareness Day and the idea of it. That to me, it was like, I'm thinking throughout the whole thing, this would never happen.
Right.
This could never happen. And I get it. Look, sci-fi is like that. I'm not saying this is a sci-fi movie, but it brings out this absurd idea and then lets it play out. And this is an absurd idea, and it's meant to really shine a light on sex and relationships today. And there are messages at the end of the movie, and I'll focus on that. This movie is an exploration of sex and relationships. That this one physical act that people are pent up and are saving for one day. The most of society is about that physical act versus these two who ultimately learn. Sorry, spoiler alert. That the relationship is more important than the sex. But damn, the things that happened up until that point, it's like I'm just not buying it. And then to add on top of that, very mediocre humor. Like Owen has a girlfriend in the beginning of the movie, and she wants to have sex with I think it's the super of her building instead of him, and he has this name. I think I'm just gonna say like Owen Greenblatt Ruiz, and they say that name over and over again because they think that that's funny. If we just say this weird name over and over again, and to me that was kind of indicative of a lot of the humor in this movie. Just if to call there's a lot of sex in the movie, no nudity, but people having sex. But I wouldn't never call this movie raunchy. And I think maybe if there was a raunchy factor,
there were raunchy jokes.
There were raunchy jokes, but it's very safe.
Right.
One thing that helped guide me through the whole film is Monica Barbero's cleavage, which is on display constantly from basically the first third of the movie to the end, and it's fabulous. But it's just kind of like there are things in this movie I really like, things in the movie I really don't like, and I think in the end, the stuff I don't like won out. And look, I'm not going to give this. I'll give this a bare not recommend.
Oh well, I give it a bare recommend. I if I had to rate it, I give it a 6. But I think what it's that thing where I'm like, I was really resisting it, and by the end, the movie really won me over with its overriding message.
Yeah, I mean, I will give you that. The message. I mean, that message is important. That again, sex versus relationships. That's something I think we've gotten skewed off of in the last few decades. And I think this is a very pro relationship. I mean, look, if no, okay. I was going to make a comment that we're giving away the ending.
Come on.
But the thing is, sometimes, maybe one of the things they don't discuss is, one loophole around the whole one day of sex is get married.
Yeah. Well, they show like the president in like, they really try to do the world building of like, this is a real world. And there's like all this propaganda about the one night only. And then like the tech behind the mark on the wrist, which some might say mark of the beast. I don't know, just saying.
I was thinking exactly that way.
Yeah. But then they show the president. It's like, well, STDs are down, the teen pregnancy down. Like he was going through the numbers of things are positive over this mandate of
Yeah.
no sex except for one day to sort of let loose.
Yeah.
In the end, I give it a bare recommend, a 6, and it's really the chemistry with any romantic comedy. The chemistry of the two leads makes it,
Mm-hmm.
and the movie won me over in the end. So I'm recommending it. Alan,
No, bear not recommend. But
bare not
the
recommend.
message, yeah. But but I mean, I do like the message at the end of it. But damn, what I had to go through to get there, I don't think it was worth it.